Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. I have, every Tuesday-ish, I start thinking about what I'm gonna. I think I talked about this before. I open up in Gmail a little draft email and just start typing up chronologically what's happened between the last one and this one. And I'm always striving for routine, and it amuses me how just different every week is. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of the whole point of doing this for me, is to I'm not going to write all this out on Facebook, I just don't want to.
Right.
Just having a audio recap. And you're involved in a lot of that shit that happens, so it's fun to get to talk to you about it.
It's true. I'm around.
You ever think about doing these live? Because I like that we've gotten into a groove now where pretty much I finish work, I walk through the door, you come in from the patio from your cigarette, and within 10 minutes, I want to say it was within 8 minutes this time, we're chit-chatting.
I'm dialing it in. I finally kind of figured out the time, my personal timing to make sure I'm ready for you when it's go time. So I think today was probably the optimal situation, because I don't want to be waiting on you.
Right.
But I also want us to be able to get started as quickly as possible. Plus, when you come over, you gotta say hi to Jay or talk to him a little bit. Then gives me a couple seconds to set up. By set up, I mean plug a microphone into my laptop and open a program.
Yeah, I've gotten to love our little microphone checks, making you laugh.
I'm honestly gonna start saving those and putting those in as the starting clip of the show, and then it just cuts to us talking about normal shit.
For the listener, they're truly stupid, and I do not recommend this.
Okay, well, don't keep doing it.
It's all gonna be alphanumeric now. Yeah, I can tell when you delete it. It's 3 feet away from me.
I mean, I can be tricky.
Alright, anyways. We did the podcast last Thursday, and then our buddy Jeremy, we were just talking about, I don't want to, divulge too much of his life without his consent, but he did some traveling. And you guys know I love the people in this room, love my family.
Yep.
Got a text shortly after noon or so from Jeremy, I've got an emergency. And that's always, our time to shine is, I know that I've texted the whole group when I was in San Diego and left my cell phone in an Uber and just had my laptop on me.
Oh yeah.
It was I need somebody to call my cell phone. And you helped out there, and that could have been horrible. Because it was the first hour of being in San Diego when I was going to be there for days on end.
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why we do these. But Jared left his driver's license here at the house, and yeah, it was... I was doing that shit where it's alright, I'm on the way. And just Ashley was training somebody in the garage, and I walked out to the car, she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, it's in your text messages, love you, bye. And drove over here, did a drive-by, which generated a pretty cute video that I'll post with this podcast. And just hauled ass down 1:30 to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
We had time to spare, and Jared has TSA pre-check, so I didn't go nuts. But it was all fine and dandy until actually getting to the airport, and then I'm on the phone with Jeremy and talking about, all right, we're going to see you at American Airlines, we're going to see you at, I had envisioned going all the way to the very end, because that's where the optimum checkpoint is anyways, and I thought maybe we could get around all the traffic, but no, it was just all 3 lanes were just locked up.
Yeah.
So he got into the middle area where you get picked up to go to your car if it's in a parking lot situation. Yeah. And I just had my window down and was getting closer and closer and closer, and then no shit, some sort of ladies volleyball or softball team. I saw 2 people go by in a jersey, and this is gonna be a whole team, and it was 30 kids just taking up the crosswalk. I was okay. And I could see Jeremy, and he could see me. We're still on the phone just laughing about it. And then eventually some crosswalk guard, whatever, whistled us through.
Yeah.
And just had my hand out the window like, I love you, Jer! Just tried to embarrass him. And
yeah.
That was that. And the whole thing was like an hour maybe.
Yeah.
Including like the time I stopped to like stop and grab some chips and a coffee and take a piss because I literally just like got in the car and just took off. And didn't think about it until like I was in that line. Like, man, I don't like once I get out of the airport. Like, where's the first restroom? Like, I don't even know. So that was fun. And then Saturday, I mentioned this on Thursday's pod. I played Ultimate Frisbee for the first time since June 2021. And it was a blast. Took some notes. Played for like an hour and a half. Wasn't too hot because we actually had some rain. And yeah, burned. I have a Whoop. They keep track of this stuff. Burned 926 calories. Max heart rate was 181 beats per minute. And average heart rate was 143 for that hour and a half. And from a fitness perspective, because I've been talking about that a lot, my biggest takeaway is I can do the quick sprint, stop.
Yeah.
But I had to like run for a long period of time because somebody threw it deep and I was covering somebody. Wasted. I can't do those back to back. It was immediately like subbed me out, and then did one more of those again, subbed me out. So that'll be nice that I can do that just in perpetuity, but that's not there right now.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was really, really great. Didn't know anybody there. All the people that I knew from previous Ultimate experience in Austin were all at like tournaments, like 3 different tournaments in different places. So presumably this weekend some of them will be back, but yeah, it's good. It's a good time, and literally was like, I don't know how I got by without this, because it is like the exercise is great, but the spirit of the game, and I could talk at length about Ultimate Frisbee and what it means to me, but it's really, really great. And then went immediately from there back to here.
Yeah.
So that we could put a bow on that secret project we were talking about last time.
Yep, bow placed and gift delivered.
Callie and I built a template for fantasy football for the rest of the season, including the debut of our official Tyrannosaurus Rex theme song.
Yep.
Pretty sweet.
Pretty proud about that one.
Mm-hmm. And then just came over here to shoot a couple 6-second segments. This kind of hype going into the 2.5 minute template, and it was I was having a great time.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun that day. That was one of the most fun days I've had in a while.
Just fun being silly and goofy and acting like professional cinematographers.
Yeah, for a minute I was convincing myself, hey, we could do this for a living. But I guess just to clarify, we were making a draft order release video. I don't know if you said that. I don't think you did. Yeah, but I just wanted to clarify that so anyone listening didn't know. But to be honest, completely honest, I think we can do better than the template that we have right now.
Go on.
So, our dear friend Corey and his wife have started a league of their own this year, and they're both in our league. Last year was Jamie's first year, but Corey's been in it for years and years, and I expect Jamie to be in it for years and years, and eventually I expect Corey's kids to join when they get of age. But they started their own for some people in Iowa, and because that's where they live, and they need some extras, so me, Nathan, and Ashley are in that league. And they also decided to have their own draft order release video that they released roughly a day after we released ours. And after watching ours and watching theirs, it just made me feel like we could do better. I mean, I'm not saying they definitely did better than we did.
They literally just stood in front of a camera right off a cell phone.
That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, I think that looks, at least in this day and age, more almost professional than what we have I don't know. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not an artist. I'm none of those things. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we can make ours a little better. I think the concept is good. I just think maybe... I don't know. It might still work very well for what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now. I had none of this prepared.
Ironically, it's modeled off of Corey's basketball videos from his fantasy basketball season last year, where it was frame by frame recap. But yeah, Corey and Jamie said this, that it was like their first shot at a TikTok type video or YouTube type video, where it is like a more current format what they're doing.
And one of them, I don't know which one, I asked them, they didn't answer me, but one of them like knows more about video editing than I do. Mm-hmm. Just because with like what they were doing with graphics and other stuff on their video, mm-hmm. it looked really good. Like I have no idea how to even begin to do what they were doing. And I feel confident they might have been using the same video editing software as me, because Corey, like, the day before was asking what video software I used because he was looking for one. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't really have to spend this time right now workshopping, and that's more of a commissioner's only situation. And I think I have an idea mm-hmm. that will be easy and we can still kind of do what we're doing, but let's just make it better. So we'll talk about that offline.
I think the point of everything is to get better at it. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, Corey and Jamie's video, I loved it. Mm-hmm. I really love it because, okay, so I just wanted to share one more little story from this because it was real entertaining for me. So, in Corey and Jamie's league, I decided to name my team Top Gun 7 Charlie's Revenge. Uh-huh. Based on that Simpsons bit where Bart is trapped in that lion cage thing, and he had to figure out Roman numerals to get him out of there, and he was like, Rocky 5 plus Rocky 2 is Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge. Yeah. So that shows how old I am, that I'm still using Simpsons references for stuff. I did it today. But, so yeah, I named it that, and then I used Roman numerals to kind of help give away the joke. But my dumbass typed XII instead of VII, so that was actually 12 instead of 7. Mm-hmm. But Corey and I, like, even though we haven't been around each other a whole lot the last few years, like, we were so connected at one point that connection is still there, mm-hmm. where he knew exactly what I was trying to convey, and he said it. He said my team name how I would want it to be said on the draft, on his draft video, but then then there's text come over and it was like, actually it's 12. So that cracked me up so hard, because then in the league chat it came up and I was just like, and then I messed it up again in that league chat before I got it fully right. Mm-hmm. But it was just funny how it's just like he knew what I was getting at.
Ashley and I think Jamie commented on that at the wedding, how much you two you could tell that you guys had spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, we did. Like, for multiple years, he was like who I spent like all my time with, basically outside of my house. Mm-hmm. But usually we were at my house, so I guess it still kind of counts. But yeah, he's my brother from another mother. Good times. We're gonna get better though. We're gonna get our videos better, and we're gonna stay the supreme fantasy football league.
Speaking of fantasy football, I thought it might be enjoyable for the listener, and I think you had something to contribute to this as well, to kind of understand the depth of my fantasy football participation. So last year I played for more money than I've ever played for before. Mm-hmm. I think I put in a total of $60 across 4, maybe 5 leagues.
Yeah.
It must have been 4, because like one of those leagues was $30. And ended up making like 100, maybe it was more than that actually, because I had $110 in Yahoo at the end of the season, and then I won a big ESPN league with a bunch of Facebook people that I could also talk about a lot, that I wrote notes for the show, but and that was a $270 prize. So whatever that is, like $380 after putting in like 60, maybe $80. Maybe it was like $90 with that $30 league, whatever. This year, I'm in 6 Yahoo and 1 ESPN fantasy football leagues. With my favorite definitely being the free league. The number one priority being Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I mean, it better be.
Getting that trophy back.
It better be.
But across the other leagues, 5 are money leagues, to which I've contributed $135. So that's like reinvesting all the Yahoo, not all of it, but then you're playing in it too, that ESPN league where it's a $30 buy-in. Yeah. So I think we have 10 people this year instead of 12, so a different prize, but whatever. The total that I could win is $850. So for the listener, the goal is $850.
I support that. Hey, how about this? You get that $850, and then I'll take the trophy and Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay. Then we'll be good.
We shall see. You said you were playing in more leagues this year?
So yeah, I definitely should have probably gone before you in talking about number of leagues. I'm only in 5 leagues this year, which is honestly a lot for me. Usually I'm like 3. And when I'm at 3, like even then, I feel like I don't pay as much attention to one of them as I should. But this year I've gone up to 5. 2 of them are money leagues. I think they're both $30. I mean, I know I'm in one with you for $30. And then I think the other one's $30. It's either like 25 or 30. It's the league I'm in with my Michigan cousins that they run. But yeah, I mean, I'm diving even deeper into it. I was doing some mock drafts earlier. I thought I crushed one draft, and it gave me a C grade on it, and I was like, well, that's not great.
You doing this on Yahoo then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate this.
I mean, but you saying that doing this on Yahoo, I wanted to not do a league this year purely because it was on ESPN's fantasy stuff and not Yahoo's.
Yeah.
But, and I told you, that was the $30 league with you. I was totally not going to do it because you actually asked me at one point a while back if I wanted to do it again, and I was like, I'm boycotting ESPN leagues. Like, I'll play fantasy with you, but we got to do it in Yahoo because ESPN, their app, and everything about the operation just sucks for me in fantasy. But then old friend Brad started up a league for him and people in his neighborhood, but he needed a couple extra, and he asked me to join. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he sends me the invite, and it's ESPN, and I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I can't back out now. I can't be like, well, hey, no, I can't do this. You're using ESPN. Like, that doesn't, you can't do that. So at that point, once I knew I was committed to one team in ESPN, I was like, all right, I can do another. Plus, I kind of like the team name I have also in the league, that $30 league with you.
Baloof? No, it's not Baloof 42. What is it?
Kit Cloud Kicker.
Okay, yeah, that's why I thought it was that.
Yeah, there's a theme. And then my fantasy WNBA team was the Rebecca Cunninghams. My main team name for the main league is Baloo 42. Again, from Tailspin. One of the greatest TV shows ever made of all time. And then I've also got Top Gun 7, Charlie's Revenge. So I'm really going for an aviation theme. And then, continuing, I forgot about this, and this is recent. Continuing on the Tailspin theme, my team name for the league that Brad created is the Conwing L16s, which the Conway L16 is in the lore of Tailspin, the make and model of the Sea Duck, the airplane that Baloo flies.
Cool.
It's a Conway L-16. So I named my team that. So I've got 4 leagues that I've been in that are named after the cartoon Tailspin.
Yeah. So the leagues that I play with strangers, I have a naming convention. One of them, they're strangers that I strictly know through Yahoo. Like, we never no social media conversations at all. And that one is Gaius Marius. And then my most expensive league is like a $50 buy-in is Sulla, Cornelius Sulla.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones are, the third one is Hannibal Barca. So it's all like, especially Marius and Sulla, like contemporaries in a particular time in Roman history. And then Barca was just, I wanted another like fun, cool one. And then in our main league, it's and I will go to Texas, which is the half a quote from David Crockett that's you can all go to hell and I'll go to Texas.
Yep.
But in the Corey's league, I recycled a team name from one of our previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, prior to season 10, yeah, we had themes every year, and one of the years was season 5, I believe, the Black Album, because that was the 5th album. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And I did Hornier Than Thou.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, for those that don't know, graduated from TCU in 2008, the Horned Frogs. They're in some social media controversy right now, which is amusing and entertaining. But I was also part of the Residence Hall Association, and like a third of that job is making shirts and coming up with fun ideas for shirts.
Yeah. And
definitely, my biggest claim to fame was a Hornier Than Thou t-shirt.
Yeah. That
was mass-produced, mass-printed, and lots of people walk around with RHA Hornier Than Thou t-shirts. I like to wear it from time to time. And that's in Corey's league. And I picked that one because in his fantasy basketball league, it was Space Jam, or space-related. And I forget why, but there was like sexual overtones.
Yeah.
So I picked a team named Space Time Continuum.
Yeah.
And just kind of carried that energy into this year with Hornier Than Thou. And then the ESPN League with those friends from the Facebook group that you are now a part of.
Which I might leave soon. I'm getting way too many notifications about shit I'm not looking to read.
Yeah, it's definitely opinionated. And I'll tell the story of that if you think we have time. Okay. My team name there is Woktimus Prime.
Yep.
Which I've used a bunch of different places.
Yep.
But it's just amusing to me. So, that Facebook group, you couldn't find it if you tried, but I'm still not going to give the name away. There's a story behind it, and it goes way back to 2010, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So about a decade. When I was first getting into podcasts and podcasting, by which I mean listening to,
yeah,
it was because I was driving from Houston to Austin on a pretty regular basis, or Houston to wherever,
yeah, on
a pretty regular basis because of the Army, and just wanted stuff to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And that got me into, among other people, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan got me into a guy named Dan Carlin, who once upon a time was a radio host in the Pacific Northwest, but at that time had 2 podcasts, one called Hardcore History, which, if you're a history nerd, again like me, there's lots to love in there, plenty of insight and episode after episode about specific parts of history, and then sometimes one-offs. And now he's got a spin-off of that called Hardcore Addendum, where he just does interviews. But the other podcast that he had was called Common Sense. And before libertarianism got kind of a bad name,
yeah,
which I think it has earned recently, I guess that's the best way that you could describe him, but he would say that he has a Martian perspective of throw away the parties and just pretend like you're from Mars looking down on things, and like that's pretty messed up over there, and that's pretty hypocritical over here, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he used to put out in the Obama years like an episode definitely every month. I want to say like every other week. And we had a Facebook group that was huge, to the point where Ben, Dan Carlin's assistant, Ben, if there is a Ben, actually reached out to the moderators and was like, hey, you can have this group, but you can't have like the official Dan Carlin logo. So he put like a big unofficial, like in yellow tape over it, which was amusing. And in those years, at least, everybody was, there's never a situation where everybody's on the same page and everybody agrees, which I think is like the point of like discourse. But it was sensible, kind of in the same vein as like Dan Carlin was like not a shill for the RNC or the DNC, just he had his own opinions and all that. And then, so cliques formed, right?
Yeah.
And, some people are goofy in there just to be trolls, but some people, like, genuinely, talk about stuff that's in a somewhat insightful way, and then those people gravitate towards one another, and a spin-off group was made called Woke Island Tours, and that was kind of the oasis of, all right, the Dan Carlin group has everybody in it, this is just the cool cats. And it was a really, really, really great, strong community. And I went back to check the group recently, and like literally the last post was, hey, so-and-so can't see this post, I've excluded them from it or whatever, had a family tragedy, can we all pitch in to get them, they couldn't afford a plane ticket to go to a funeral, I think it was.
Dang.
Yeah. And we did that, and that's how like close we were. But turned out the kind of driving force behind it was a dude and was like getting in people's DMs and doing shady shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the name of the fantasy football group you're in is Don't Be Gross.
Yeah.
That it didn't get shut down, it's still there, but everybody left there and started the group that you're in now, which I don't want to give away the name, but the name that's in the title of that group was like the person who was designated as okay, you're cool. And just kind of rebuilt around that person, who's a personal trainer in San Francisco that's a really good guy. Blah, blah, blah. And we had fantasy football leagues in that Woke Island Tours group. We had t-shirts too. But we
need t-shirts.
I know.
Why don't we have t-shirts?
We do need t-shirts.
We have
because there's 12 of us and there are like hundreds of people in Woke Island Tours.
Still.
I'm
making a note.
Make a note. I'm always thinking about what kind of stuff can we do. And like I wanted to do enamel pins one year, but that's not cost effective at a dozen. Anyways, there was a fantasy football league in the Woke Island Tours, and I didn't do year one like of the Don't Be Gross League. I'm pretty sure that was the main dude. But having at that point we had done Tyrannosaurus Tex like year 7. Like we'd been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just took the mantle of like being the commissioner for the Don't Be Gross Fantasy Football League, and now it's year 3. And that's kind of the history of that ESPN group. I'm sorry, we're on ESPN. I agree that ESPN is like the vanilla, pardon the parlance, basic bitch of fantasy football engines. But it's the lowest level of entry for a lot of people. Especially now that if you have a Disney login, you have an ESPN login. And if you don't have Yahoo, then you're like, why would I get into this Yahoo ecosystem? Personally, I kind of want to do more with Sleeper, but I think that Yahoo is like a close second to that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy with Yahoo right now. Like, over the I've noticed some changes they've made on there, and over the last few years that really have just solved some of my gripes with them. But the difference between Yahoo and ESPN is like, if you were like, if they were cars, Yahoo would be like, what would Yahoo be like? Be like a Lincoln Navigator.
Okay.
It's like, it's not the top shelf, but it's like, it's in the ballpark and it does everything you want and it looks nice and everything works properly. And then ESPN is more like a Pontiac Beretta. Have you ever heard of a Pontiac Beretta?
I have. And picturing that boxy Ford Mustang.
That's not, I mean, it's, I guess, kind of in the realm of that, but the thing that really set apart the Pontiac Berettas is their door handles were vertical and not horizontal.
Ooh.
But it wasn't, it was like a pull towards you kind of situation.
Okay.
And that shit would break. Like, easily. And, yeah, they just, totally different classes. And I'm sorry, like, if you want to play fantasy football right, it's not hard to make a Yahoo account. Like,
do you know what my big gripe with Yahoo is?
No.
It's the draft prep. That do your pre-draft rankings setup.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I think I might have seen something,
But you don't do any of that going into a season.
I mean, I do my own prep, but I don't use their tool to do it. Never have.
That's a big part of getting ready for these things for me. Is that depending on the rules of the league, I also have my own like separate spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
But then I import that into the pre-draft tool, and not like literally import it, like upload it, but like you have to go into the Yahoo's pre-draft thing, and it's very, very cumbersome. But that way, when you're in the draft, you've got like the Yahoo rankings, but then you also have a selection for your own rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Without giving away too much more. ESPN is superior there. But I agree. In the week to week, in the updates, and every other way, Yahoo is superior.
Yeah.
Sleeper is great for doing mock drafts.
See, that was something I was looking into today, because like I said, I did a little bit of mock drafting today.
Mm-hmm.
It's my first of the season, actually. But I was looking in Yahoo, and I was like, can I set up my own draft, my own rules, so I could emulate our league's rules, because we don't really play by super conventional rules.
That's right.
They're not super out there, but it's different. It's different enough to cause an issue in mock drafts. And then it was like, oh, pay for premium. And I was like, suck a dick. I'm not paying for shit.
No.
But yeah, so that's a little bit of a bummer, all the mock drafts. I guess, can I go on Sleeper and like make an account and just do mock drafts and set up my own stuff?
Yeah. That's all I use it for, is mock drafts.
Just taking all kinds of notes this episode. Yeah, because it definitely makes a difference, because in our league, anyone who plays fantasy out there that doesn't already play with us that's listening, the biggest difference in our league is we have individual defensive players instead of a team defense. You get 4 defensive players.
They can be linebackers, they can be safeties, they can be corners.
Anybody on a defense, yeah. And that definitely changes how you do things, really. Because, I mean, they're there every week. They put up points, so you need to do that right.
And you might be thinking, oh, a point per tackle, just always pick linebackers. Yeah, come on. We're in year 11. We've sorted out the weighting of interceptions and sacks so that it can be enticing to get a corner or to get an Aaron Donald. Come on.
I still exclusively get linebackers.
I normally do too. Times when I haven't have been like Jamal Adams. He was putting up phenomenal. I know he got me into the championship that one year, and then I know Brian was a force until Jamal Adams got injured with him, and then Ashley had Trayvon Diggs last year when he had 7 games in a row, or like just crazy. And we weighed interceptions, and he was putting up big numbers.
I mean, I remember having J.J. Watt back in the day, time or two, definitely put up some numbers for me.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, this year I'm thinking like there's a chance I might bend my own personal rules a little, and maybe if things work out and the timing looks right, I might get Hutch.
Nice.
Aiden
Yeah.
Hutchinson. But I don't feel with I don't fuck with defensive backs.
It's very brave of you to, because even I'm like, oh, should I have told him about the sleeper? But
Well, this is
even more brave for you to be talking about like who you might want to target.
I mean, anybody who knows me, which is most of the people in the league already, I guess, and the other people, I have no reason to believe they have any connection to Michigan sports at all. I mean, of course, I'm gonna want Hutch, but at the same time, who else is listening? Who cares?
That's a good point.
What's the draft order gonna be? Or no, not draft order. We know that, but like, who's gonna be available when? Who does what? I don't see anybody going out and drafting Hutch before I get the chance to, just to spite me. Because honestly, I mean, he's a rookie. We don't know what he's gonna do. He's not a linebacker, which is who I rely on.
Yeah, I don't think you need to justify it anymore because we're like 35, 36 minutes in, and yeah, it's like 3 people watching all the way through, so you're good. Yeah. Wish we talked about this sooner. Corey and his situation in our league.
Oh, it's so funny. I audibly laughed out loud when he sent the message in the chat the other day that he was open to trading his first pick in the draft.
Do you even know if that's possible prior to?
You know, I was thinking about it. I don't know if it can be done just like in the app.
Just as a user.
I think maybe like if we like decided that was allowed, then we could do it. But it's just because I mean honestly, I thought about it for a minute and I was like, okay, is there something I could do that could give me that pick? But I'm like, you're just trading draft picks. You have to trade 1 for 1. Like you can't like give 2 up and get 1 back.
Right.
You have to have the same number of positions. So I don't really know any way of it being like worth it. So
yeah, I think we could make it happen. I'm more curious if there's like if I could go in Yahoo right now and like
propose a trade.
Yeah, click and do it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see there's any like legal reason against it.
No, I mean I'd be okay with it, but I mean what it would be like is I guess someone trading whatever pick they have in the first round for the first pick, and then I guess
somebody like Tom saying, "Here's your second pick back, and now upgrade me in 2 other rounds or something."
Well, it has to be 1 for 1. So
yeah, when I say upgrade, I mean like here's
just swap.
Yeah.
But
yeah, when you start thinking about like, is it worth it, and what would you do? Because I too thought about it, but
yeah, I mean, especially, I might have been more interested before we actually started crunching some real historical numbers. Like we've been around as a league long enough to where we can start going back on the data and looking at it, and we started doing that a little bit. And a team with the number 1 pick in the draft, I don't think has ever been even in the top 3 at the end of the year. So, do I really want it?
right.
I don't know. I've won from like I think the 7th and the 9th position. So
the year I won was the 6th. Yeah.
Which I kind of think that like mid round pick is kind of where it's at because you don't ever have those 20 pick gaps in between where just like a whole slew of players are just taken out and you're just automatically dropped to the next level. You get, if you're in the middle, you get like a consistent, all right, you're going to be picking like pretty much the person who's supposed to be there when you get there. So I'm not mad at my 6th pick that I got. And I'm excited to see what I can do with it. I started, like I said, doing some mock drafts today, and I was seeing who like might be around for like my first pick of the draft at number 6, and I think there's definitely some things to be done. And in a couple of the drafts, like I was definitely able to get Tom Brady at a good draft pick. Like
there's so many quarterbacks, dude. Yeah.
So the thing is, and I mean, I know I'm giving up a lot of my own personal like strategy and whatnot, but I don't really care. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's gonna change anything. But when I was doing it, it had to have been the 6th pick. Like, Derrick Henry could definitely be in the running around pick number 6, who I had last year and who was taking me, like he wasn't carrying my team. I had a lot of good shit going on. Yeah. But he was the fucking Rudolph of my sleigh of reindeer going to the top. Mm-hmm. And he did amazing things, and then he got hurt, and that just fucked my entire season last year. So, I don't know if I trust in him to stay healthy now. Like, do I gotta let him go if he's available and go for someone else?
So you know his injury?
Do what?
You know his injury?
I mean, I know he was injured.
You know what the injury was?
At one point I did.
His little toe, but not on his toe up here.
Uh-huh.
I had the same thing on my foot, but here.
Uh-huh.
Look at me.
I mean, last I heard, your 40 time isn't that impressive. That's what I'm worried about.
I think I came back, though. Because after I broke my foot was when I did I deployed after I broke my foot, for God's sake.
It's true, but at the same time, like, I feel like you're kind of setting me up. You're, like, juicing me up to go after Derrick Henry because you think he's going to fail and you want me to fail. Like, at this point now, like, all bets are off. Like, I can't fully trust anything you ever say about this.
I'm in the top 4 picks, and Christian McCaffrey is, like, a very realistic thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have similarly, I'm in the same, like, you know, he's hurt because of how he does what he does, which is, like, why Chris Carson's not playing anymore and why a few people aren't, because he's just, like, is trying to get hurt, basically, but it's, like, a part of his style.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can he come back? He's 25. When I was 25, you could drop me on my head.
I don't know. I think he's going through a little bit more than just a simple fall on the noggin. Plus, now they got the Guardian caps. His head's fine.
These guys bounce back at that age, though. But they're not wide receivers. You're right. They're running backs that take way more hits.
And he takes more than the normal running back, too. Like, he initiates them. Mm-hmm. He's looking for it.
That's about CMC or Henry?
CMC.
I think Henry's in a much better place than CMC because, he
does. Okay, I'll say this right now. If CMC dropped to where I could get him in 6th, I'd still pass him.
Really? Wow.
I don't trust him for shit. But Henry, he's still like, I'm debating. Like, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
If he's there.
I've heard pundits say, like, he's a big guy, but he's running on those little bones. Which is like the smallest one broke first. Yeah. It's totally different. You know, Derrick Henry, he'll get through a guy, but then he's 22 miles an hour down the field, which is different than CMC, like, I'm going to try and hurdle that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Think we got a good time?
Yeah. I think this has been a pretty fun episode. This is what I'm actually really looking forward to listening back to.
Cool.
I might not have listened to the last 1 or 2 podcasts in fullness after editing them like I normally do. Mm-hmm. I think I listened to the last one, but the one before that I know I didn't.
I typically always listen the day before because I always have a from last time reference.
Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start doing that then. But on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and head out. Thank you everyone for listening, dropping a like, subscribing. If you think you want to donate money, I'll start a Patreon. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. We're never going to do that.
If you see anybody commenting on our videos with, like, Russian names with links, just don't do that. We'll delete those if we can.
Oh, yeah. We had a Russian bot comment on our video of for an OnlyFans account. I deleted that, though. Anyway, thank you guys. Love everybody. Have a good one.
Peace.